All right, so for Ling, let's just say that we want to use this website right here, which is all in Russian, and it has some sort of history and things like that on the Russian language, and we want to import this as a lesson. All we have to do is hit the share sheet here, and then we'll go and scroll down a bit. So I hit the More option here, and then we can go and scroll down all the way to the bottom, and you'll see Ling. So if we'll see link, and then if I tap on that, then we just need to set the language that we're importing, and so that's going to be Russian. In here, we'll add a new course, and we'll just say, actually, this fits into Historia. Level, if you want to choose a level, you can choose the level, although I don't really know what the level is, so we'll just leave it as is. It'll populate with the title of the web page. You can change that if you want, and then it'll also have the website URL. You can also add some tags and things like that if you want. So we're going to hit save right here, and that's going to import the lesson into LingQ and convert all of the text into clickable links. So here we can see that the import was successful. Now we can just hit open. And so that will take us into LingQ and into our newly created lesson. And so here, what's really great about this is that as you go through with LingQ and you're learning more and more, you will see more things where it says, like for example, Ruski. This is a word that I've already seen before and I've already made a link to. So you can see that this is highlighted in yellow. Words that are completely new to me are written in blue. And so if you go here and you tap on this, and then I just tap away, you can see that now it is yellow because it's something that I just started learning. And so this is history, but it's a different conjugation than I've seen before. And so let's just say for this particular example, Ruski, I already know what that is, so I'm just going to make that a known word. And so you can see that now it goes away and it's highlighted in black, so it's really not sort of standing out. And so here we can see that as we tap through, we're creating more and more links. Again, if you are on the free version, you only have 20 of these that you can make before you have to start deleting some. And so that is very, very limiting. So again, really this only makes sense if you are paying for the subscription. But again, if I tap down there at the bottom, I'll go into Sentence Viewer, and so now we can see here, Русский язык истории, and we can see, if we tap here on this play, we'll hear a little audio example of how this sentence is pronounced. If you want to hit the turtle icon, you can make it go slower. Unfortunately, the voice is kind of robotic sounding. It doesn't sound supernatural or organic the way that it does in some other apps like Rosetta Stone or Ling, but you know, it gets the job done. It's okay. And then down here we can see all of the unique words that are used in the sentence. So you can see язык, tongue, and by the way, you do not see words that you already know. So if you've already added something to the known words, it's going to disappear from this list. And if you don't yet have a word added to your links, so for example, strany, which is the country, this word I haven't yet seen and I haven't made a link to it yet, but if I just tap there, I can add it, and now you can see that it turns yellow there. So that is a pretty cool thing. And then if I want to see the translation all at once, I can just tap right there. Now we can see the Russian language origins, modernity, and its unifying role in the history of the country. And so you can see each of the words right there. Then if I slide to the right, we will see our next example here. So nasze все.
Nasze.
And so this is our everything. So going on here, we see чего мы не знал о русском языке. And if I want to go through and use flashcards to review this page here, we can say review page, and this is going to basically take all of the words that we've seen before and give us some example sentences and other things like that to use in multiple choice and other things like that. So here, у них есть. So that. Then we can hit continue, so есть, and then we have to figure out what that means. So that is to have, or it can also mean eat in certain contexts. So here of language, so that's языка.
Na.
Now we see na, so na is in, at, or nearby. So if you get something wrong, then you'll be given a little incorrect icon and it'll say what it is supposed to mean. So now here we see языки, which is language. And so we got that right, so we can say okay. Еще, so that is going to be still, yet, else, or more. So we go continue. Когда, so когда is when, how long. That, then, or so. So that is going to be to times времена. Тогда. So again, if you get something wrong, then it'll show you the correct example, сейчас. So that is now. Русского, Russian. And so you can see that this is sort of how the LingQ review works. I'm not going to go through all of this since we can see that the progress bar is only about a quarter of the way through, but this is pretty much how you go through and review with LingQ. So that is a pretty cool thing. And if you want to listen to an entire page being read, you can just hit on this play thing and it'll generate some lesson audio for you. And when it finishes, then it's going to give you the option to hit the play button again. And then if you do that, you can change the replay speed. You can play, you can go back 5 seconds, or you can use the scrubber to kind of scrub through and pick a part where you want to hear. So this is really helpful. So that way you can sort of use this as an audiobook where you're reading and you're also hearing the audio alongside it. That really helps to sort of cement things in your mind. And to get more proficient at actually reading in your target language, which is something that is pretty difficult, especially if it's a language that uses a writing system that you're not familiar with. So that is pretty much that for using LingQ. If I go back here to this, you'll see a little summary of all of the words that we've learned today, our streak, our sort of digital coins, which are sort of like a reward system, and how many hours we've listened today. And so then if we go down here to vocabulary, you can see all of the words that we've ever encountered, including words that we know. If we hit here, we can go to phrases, and this will keep only the highlighted phrases that you have, but I don't really highlight phrases so much. And then here, this is our review words that we should be going over that are due. So that is pretty much that. If I go here, I can change my search filters to be new to learned, or I can also even include known words. So that is that. I can also have this sorted by importance, creation date, A to Z, or status. And if I go ahead here and hit review, this will take a couple of words and have us go through and review them. So here we see what, that, so that's going to be что. And so we can go through and review just like that. The next thing that you can do here is if you tap on the three dots icon right here, we can add this to, we can do an export here, so we can export all of these as a text document, or we can export them to Anki. And then you can go here and you can also go into settings. If you want to add a word by yourself, you can also do that here. So if you want to manually add a word, you can do that. But we're not going to do that right now. Then here, if we go into playlists, you can add as many lessons to a playlist as you want. And so we can see here that here we have a playlist with a whole bunch of different lessons. And if I tap on one of them, then I'll get to hear the audio, and that way I get my listening hours in. If I go here to more, we'll see all of the notifications that we have, which basically are notifications telling you to go ahead and review your Russian or whatever language you're working on. We can see here that you have challenges, which are community-based, and so there's 90-day challenges and other things like that, so you can go and join with other people who are doing those if you want. There's also a forum that you can go to, and the grammar guide. So like I said, the grammar guide is really nice because we actually get the ability to go in here and we can see pronunciation, spelling, and reading rules. So this is very, very helpful for when you're just starting out and you don't really know any of the words or any of the letters in the alphabet. You can sort of learn how they're said and what they sort of sound like. And then you can go through here to nouns, and you can see that there's masculine, feminine, and neuter. And then you can go here to pronouns and sort of see how you would put together sentences with those, adverbs, conjugations, verb tenses, adjectives, numerals, prepositions, and particles and interjections. So you can see that there's quite a bit of information here, and it's really nice that they give you this stuff. Even though it's not directly in the app, it's nice that it's actually something that is built in and available for you to play with. And if you ever need any help or anything like that, there is documentation and sort of an FAQ type of thing. So if you want to go in there, you can do that. But yeah, that is pretty much a link. And yeah, you also have some guided courses which are made by Link for certain languages. So mainly the popular ones like Russian and Italian, Spanish, stuff like that will have these guided courses. And so they'll take you all the way through advanced 2 in terms of your level. So here we have our beginner 1, beginner 2, intermediate 1, intermediate 2, advanced 1, and advanced 2. And so that is a pretty cool thing. So you can go through each one of those. You can create links, you can listen to them, you can read them yourself. All right, so here inside of Link, you can see that I am on my Russian tab right here. Inside of languages, we can see all of the languages that you can use. All right, so if I go over to Afrikaans, which is one of the more obscure languages that they have in the sort of extra languages section, and then I go to menu, you'll see that we don't actually have a grammar guide for this, so that's unfortunate. Even with Link, with some of the more obscure languages, you're not going to be getting grammar guides, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's kind of on par with pretty much other languages, other language learning apps where they don't treat every language exactly the same. But let's go back to Russian here, and you'll see that I have imported this video right here. This is an interview with the Russian musician Zara. And so This was a YouTube video, and if I tap right down here in the bottom left corner, you'll see that there's a little play icon, so I can hit that right now, and it'll play through the entirety of the video, and it'll show me the Russian transcription right here alongside that, so that way I can follow along and I can see exactly what they're saying at each moment in the video. So that is pretty cool. And I can also tap here and go into the sentence view, which is basically also accessed, as I had shown before, like this. And so we can go in here to sentence view, and we can highlight words, create links, and all of that just as normal. So that is pretty nice. Like I said, unfortunately, for just the standard LingQ voice, it's going to be basically Google Translate. So I would highly recommend using podcasts or using audiobooks or other things like that you can get off of YouTube, so that we can actually hear native speakers speaking when you're going through this, because just the standard LingQ voice is not going to be that good, and you're not going to really be picking up the accent and the sort of emphasis the way that you would if you were hearing somebody actually speaking with you. But again, even though this is a video, you still get all of the things that you would get if it were just like a PDF or something. You can still go in here, tap on this, you can do review page, you can review the do items, you can review lessons, you can review vocabulary. So it is all pretty much exactly the same as with anything else in LingQ. So like I said, quite a bit that you can do with LingQ, but it is something that is a pretty steep learning curve, and it's also a little bit difficult because it's so open-ended and it's so powerful. It's sort of like, well, where do you start? So like I said, I think probably the guided lessons are going to be the easiest things to get started with, but once you're sort of used to it, you can start going out and expanding your library by importing your own lessons, and then you can kind of learn from that. So that is a pretty cool thing, and that's just a general overview of what LingQ can do.